Alright, so this will be here's Q&A number 14 or something. I don't know. Last one I put out was on June 19th, 2015. Today is July 24th, so it's a little over a month since my last one, but that was not entirely coincidental. You see, when I made that one video, what's it called again? I don't know. It was that one clickbait video I made. I got a whole bunch of dislikes. I forgot which one it is. 6.2 last patch of what? Let's not QQ too much about it. That one came out around July 2nd. I made that one as kind of like, I don't know, it was like, since I made that video, I don't need to make a Q&A for these 2 weeks. That kind of counted as it. And it got way more views than an average Q&A video, so I'm not too upset about it. It also got like a crap ton of dislikes. I was expecting that though. Let's see, how many does it have? It has 192 dislikes to 161. Sounds about right. I'm surprised there's so many likes on it anyway. You see, what that video was I put it out around the time when they announced that 6.2 would be the last patch of the expansion. And I was basically like, don't get mad about it. And that just made people even madder, which I knew would happen. It also got like a lot of, I was expecting, I don't know, it has 8,000 views. That's not good, but it's not bad either. It was probably just a waste of my time, to be honest. I didn't really need to do it. And I probably won't do any more from now on unless I really just want to talk about something. Just because the whole WoW community was so negative around that time. And I was like, I have to put out something that's at least somewhat positive. You know, hell, corporate, because Blizzard overlords are the best. And that was like also around the time when Reddit was going through its whole bullcrap too. I'm glad both of those little drama waves are over and people are not talking about it anymore. The whole thing with Reddit, I'm not going to talk about that. That was stupid. I was like, I seriously don't give a shit about the mod drama in the background. I'm just going to go to the Reddit subreddit like I always do. Let's just hope this doesn't affect what I do on Reddit, and that's read other people talk about animes that come out. And of course Ask Reddit, which it did affect. I couldn't make an Ask Reddit video for like those couple days because they shut down that subreddit. And I was like, no. Oh well. It didn't really matter. That channel is still not really... all the channels that I've made are like a month or two old, so if they don't have somewhat decent views, I'm talking like 100 views on average per video in like I don't know, 6 months or a year, then I'll start being worried. At the beginning I expect low views, and I am unceremoniously getting exactly what I expect, except on the Jokin top 10 channel, which I expected to get a little bit more already, and they do, because those are, you know, actually like effort, a lot more effort based. I don't know, not really. My joke channel, it only takes me half an hour to make a video, but it's like a half an hour of really hard work because I have to draw everything. It's not hard work. It's just it takes a lot more work than my other ones do because it takes a lot more creativity and focus, and I feel more drained of my willpower after making one of those half-hour long. Because it takes me about half hour to draw out all the scenes and animate it. And that feels like it's more work than editing for like 2.5 hours. For some reason. I don't know. Probably because it's... I don't know why that is. I should probably look into that. Why is it that when I draw for 30 minutes, it feels like I've done more work than when I edit for 2 hours? Interesting question. The top 10 videos too. Those ones, it's like, this is like my least favorite channel to make videos for, the Awesome Top 10s channel. And surprise, surprise, it's, out of all the brand new channels I made, that one's doing the best. I was 100% expecting that, but I was kind of hoping one of my other channels would overtake it, but no. The Unfunny Jokes, though, that was a huge surprise. I wasn't expecting that to be the 5th popular channel. My other ones are doing just as well as I thought they would. Since the other ones I do for fun. My Metroidvania channel, where I just play Metroidvania games, 100% for fun, gave me an excuse to play the games. Otherwise, I would think like, oh, I'm too busy, I should be editing videos right now. I don't have time to play this genre of video games that I've been wanting to play for years, but I never did because I was always playing other Blizzard-based games. So I'm glad I did that. The Ask Reddit channel, that one, well, I read Ask Reddit threads like all the time anyway. So that's basically just recording instead of reading silently to myself. So that's just like something I do anyway, just because I'm kind of obsessed with that subreddit. And what else do I have? Heroes of the Storm. Oh, that one, well, kind of the same thing with the Ask Reddit. It's just something I do anyway. Heroes of the Storm is a lot of fun. And I sometimes just record while I play it instead of just playing it silently by myself while watching, YouTube videos or listening to... Actually, I don't really listen to anything when I play that. I kind of focus in on the game, so it's not that bad. I can just, just record while I do it. Just make sure everything around me is quiet and I have the door shut and my little sister's toddler isn't screaming for no reason at the top of his lungs like toddlers like to do. Hey, he likes to exercise his lungs. It doesn't show up in the videos, in the sound, because I don't like to edit the sound when I record those kinds of videos. I actually don't like to edit at all when I make the Heroes of the Storms or the Ask Reddit videos, so I kind of just try to get it all in one take. Make sure there's no extra background noise or anything, so I don't have to go edit it out. And if there is, then I haven't had that happen yet. But if it does happen, I'll probably just edit it out. I was going to say, maybe I'll just destroy the video. But no, I'm pretty sure it'd be easier just to edit it out. Okay, so, oh wow. This video just started. I'm already rambling about stupid shit that doesn't matter. So let's see, what have I done in the past month since I last made this? Luckily, I have been writing down everything I do. So let's see, let me just look at my agenda. In my agenda, it looks like I've just been making a lot of videos. Pretty much non-stop. I'm kind of tired today though. That's because the power went out and I had to walk to the store to put more money in the SRP card. And the same thing happened on Monday too. Oh well, that's just poor planning on my part. Because the thing is, it's really hot in my house because of the place I live. So when the power goes out, my fans turn off and so do the AC. And that wakes me up like immediately because it starts getting really hot really fast. It's like, okay, I gotta go walk to the store since I don't have a car, and the other people who live in my house are at work right now, and since I work at home I don't really need a car because I just stay home all day and play by myself. Oh, it's great. I love it. So yeah, I walked over there. There's a McDonald's over there too, so I got those sausage burritos and 2 sausage biscuits because those sausage biscuits without the crappy eggs they have taste pretty good. The sausage burritos they have there are pretty good too, even though they're like really cheap as shit and they're tiny. Something about those McDonald's burritos just tastes good, especially since I don't usually wake up early enough to actually have McDonald's breakfast, so whenever I have the opportunity I usually like to grab them. Let's see, what about videos I've released since then? I've already talked about the clickbaity video I've made ever since my last Q&A. I made another Iron Man's Diary. I really need to record more of that. When the patch came out, I haven't really had time to play the Iron Man thing as much as I wanted to. I should get back into that. I only have part 2 out, and I probably won't have part 1 out for like another month, depending on when I actually get to it. Since I'm working on a video right now, it's gonna take a while. I really should have like more done than I do, but stuff kept coming up. I kept getting distracted by other things. And let's see, top 20 coolest spells. I made that one because I knew it would be a quick video. All of my other YouTube channels, oh yeah, I've been meaning to make that video for a while. I just finally got around to it. And then Dave Got Lost. This one was directly inspired by a comic strip. I don't know, I want to say directly inspired, but it's borderline just plagiarism, to be honest. I gotta make sure not to be inspired, quote unquote, by comic strips anymore, because I thought it would like tie in really nicely to the next episode, because once the next episode comes out, if you watch them in sequential order, Dave and Dev number 4, and then Dave Gets Lost, and then Dave and Dev number 5, you'll see how it relates to everything. But I also just wanted to put in that part about talking about hot Cheetos because I thought that would be funny. It seems some people like it too. And I don't know. Oh yeah, the raiding scene, huh? Hellfire stuff. We've been stuck on Kill Rock for like the past 3 weeks. That's bullshit, so whatever. We also lost a lot more raiders. This is not going good. I don't like being stuck on an easy, heroic boss. So, I really, really don't want to leave my raid team, but if we don't do better, like, we've only been doing, like, this entire expansion in Highmall, we only did, like, 2 or 3 mythic bosses, and in Blackrock, we only did 1. We worked on a second one, but we only downed 1. And that's not good. I'm usually, like, at the top of progression everything. And this is just unacceptable. I might have to leave and find a new guild that actually does mythic stuff. But I really don't want to because I server transferred there to raid with them, and I have two friends I've known for years in the raid team, so I'm kind of stuck in a pickle. Plus, they're really, really bad at recruiting. Like, we lost a whole bunch of raiders for a whole bunch of very different, legitimate reasons. And because we lost a whole bunch of raiders around, like, a span of a couple weeks for a whole bunch of legitimate reasons, we had a whole bunch of other people leave for really flaky reasons. It's like, oh, we had a bunch of people leave, so I'm going to just stop playing now since, everyone else has stopped playing, regardless of the fact that some of them had legitimate reasons for stop playing. Like, we had one of our raiders find out he had cancer, so he stopped playing for chemo treatments. It's like, that's understandable. I can see why. And another one, like, her children are only going to be in town for, like, the summer, so she's going to spend time with them. It's like, I can see that. She'll be back soon. And then another one, like, he's in the army and he got shipped off somewhere where they just don't have internet, so I can see, like, oh, that makes sense too. And it's like a whole bunch of other stuff like that. Then we just have people like, you know what, since all these other people left, I'm just gonna stop playing. I'm gonna take a break now at the start of a raid tier because I'm burnt out from not doing anything in Blackrock. It's like, whatever, we know who's the flake now, but that's very, very common in raiding. That's why I don't raid lead anymore or even attempt to be in a position of power when it comes to raiding, just because it's such a pain dealing with people and their problems. But yeah, and it seems like the raid leaders we have aren't really good at recruiting. It's like we haven't gotten I think we gotten like 1 or 2 people to replace the people who left, and then they stopped coming too. So bad at recruiting. Holy crap. It's a really hard thing to recruit, I know, but they need to do this if we're going to raid mythics. And if we don't raid mythics, I'm going to have to make a tough choice of leaving my 2 friends, and I don't want to do that, so I'd rather them just step up to the plate and do it for me so I don't have to. Because I'm not going to. It's not like I'm going to stop raiding either, because I like to raid. It's fun. It's so much fun killing bosses. It's kind of the reason I like Metroidvania games, because they have lots of boss fights in it. Single player boss fights, which are fun too. Oh well, that's enough raid drama. I don't want to... Actually, I already got into it. I can't really expand on that topic any more than I already have. I've pretty much talked about all of it. So, I think that catches me up from the last video I made like a month ago. I've just been making a lot of videos, and our raid team isn't doing well. And I think it's time to go on to the questions from last time. Let me open up the video real quick. I don't want to edit the sound. Okay, here we go. hirumaredx, are you prepared for the tears on the last episode of Plastic Memories that is going to be released today? Oh, that was a while ago. I already started out the new season. There's already like 3 episodes in. That's so behind. Okay, so Plastic Memories is this one TV show about like robots who have a lifespan of like 7 to 8 years. The thing is though, these robots, these androids or whatever, are given the souls of people, and their bodies only last for like 7-8 years, so they're basically like people in every way, shape, and form, and they're just given to people who work as like, I don't know, maids or babysitters and shit like that. And the anime falls around these people who go and collect them once their life cycle ends. But since these robots act exactly like real people, when they go and pick them up, there's usually problems with the person who owns them. They don't want to give them up because, like the robots become part of their family, or they've fallen in love with them, or they treat them as like a daughter or son, because some of the robots can be children. So there's all those problems with it. And in the first episode, they have to go collect a child from a grandma who lost her family. And it's so sad because the grandma finally decides to give her up, because if they don't give them up after their expiration period, they go rogue and they turn into like crazy, what's a good word for it, berserkers or something. They just try to kill everything. So it's not a good idea to let them go past their expiration date. And sometimes people just don't care and they try to keep them anyway, and then they get, like eaten or some shit like that. I don't know. In the anime, it's kind of lighthearted, so they don't actually show or insinuate that that's actually ever happened, but because they always stop it whenever it's about to go down like that. In the first episode, they show like a little girl android who has to go, and it's super sad. Ridiculously sad. It made me cry. I was like, oh, that's so sad. I hate it when bad stuff happens to children. So I watched the whole thing and I saw where it was going. I've watched enough TV shows and anime and movies, and I like to write short stories, and I like to read books, so I kind of get all the tropes that are going on. And I could realistically just see how it was going to end, so I stopped watching it like around episode 9. Because usually those are like 12 or 13 episodes long, and I was like, I know how this is going to end, and I don't want to watch that because it's just going to be sad, and it's going to tear my heart out, and I still haven't recovered from Your Lie in April, which is super sad too. Holy crap. Your Lie in April. It's this anime. It's like 22 episodes long. It's about this boy who plays the piano, and he's like a genius at it, and his mom had him play a lot when he was little, because his mom had like some kind of disease which was going to kill her. And on his last, he wanted his mom to get better, so he played like his heart out at one recital, and the mom beats the shit out of him. It's like, you were supposed to play it like the music thing. And he's like, I hate you, Mom. And then she dies the next day, and then he stops playing piano because he feels responsible for her death. And then this girl comes out and like 4 years later pulls him out of his depression, shows him that playing piano can be beautiful again. And then she has a disease herself, and she starts going out with his best friend, and he's like, oh, I like my best friend. He goes, I'm just going to support from the back row. I'm just going to be friend B, and then we'll play music together. And then they play together, and it's a glorious concert. Some of the best music scenes I've ever seen. It's all classical music, and it is so good. Like, I'm not a big fan of classical music, but after that anime, I could see myself listening to it every once in a while. And then at the end of it, she has like some kind of disease, like exactly like her mom, and she stops playing the violin, and then they promise that they'll play together one more time, so she gets a surgery, and then she dies during the surgery, and it turns out that she had actually been in love with him ever since she saw him play when she was little, and it was her one dream in life to play a duet with him. As her as a pianist, while she played the violin, she accomplished her dream in life. And that was the lie she told in April, was that she was actually in love with his best friend. But in reality, she was in love with him the whole time. And I was like, that's... my heart, it can't take it. That's too beautiful. She must have been so happy the whole time they were together practicing. Just thinking about that too. Okay, that's enough of that. I don't want to relive that torture and pain of that ending because it was so beautiful. Really great anime. 10 out of 10. No way you can watch that without crying unless you're some kind of monster psychopath who likes to murder baby animals. Whew. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't watch Plastic Memories because I had already had my heart torn out by Your Lie in April, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for another sad show. I don't think anything can top that, except something, I already watched something that did top that. The end of the Chimera Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter. That is way sadder than Your Lie in April. But for a completely different reason. They're both sad, But they're both sad for very different reasons. But I think the end of Hunter x Hunter, that's just too much. I can't even talk about that. Just go watch all 150 episodes of Hunter x Hunter, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, on to the next one. Let's see. Please do a live stream of a Q&A where we all RP together on Moonguard, like the one where you said you would let Zac Efron do things to you. Okay, so at the end of my stream sometimes, if we like end raid early, or I just don't want to, I don't know, if the people in chat convince me to stay on longer, I'll head over to Moonguard and we'll just watch people RP. That's something me and a friend used to do for fun. We just go to Moonguard and go into the Gold Chart Inn and just laugh at people who are doing weird shit. And then go into Stormwind and watch people do RP. Because in RP rounds, people will RP with the /say emote. So you can actually see everything they're talking about whenever they RP with each other. So I thought that'd be fun to do. And we just go over there sometimes and just watch other people RP and play along sometimes. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it usually goes well. It's not really, I can't really think of a time it actually went bad or anything. So a live stream where I RP together on Moonguard. The thing is though, I'm a slow typer. Like I hunt and peck. I never actually learned how to touch type. And that's because, I don't know, I can type pretty fast with hunt and pecking, but it's still slower than a normal person would type. And I've tried to learn how to type before, but it's really boring. Like, I already know how to type. This is like learning how to type in a completely different way. I know in the long run I might be able to type faster, but for everything I do, it's not really necessary. So I've just avoided learning how to touch type because it's really boring. Learning how to do something new is really boring unless it's like something really interesting, and typing isn't. It's just boring. I don't like doing boring stuff. It's like going to school again. So please do a live stream or a Q&A together on Moonguard. Yeah, that probably won't happen, but it might. I don't know. Let's see. What do you like better, Yu-Gi-Oh or WoW? Well, I have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel and I have this WoW channel. Which one do I like better? I don't know. Probably WoW. I like WoW. It's fun to play. I can play that all day. Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't play that all day. But that's because it's a completely different type of game. Yu-Gi-Oh, in of itself, is strictly PvP. While WoW, it's a single-player game that you can play for a long time. So if you're going to go for, like, play time, you could probably play WoW all day, but not Yu-Gi-Oh, just because in Yu-Gi-Oh you'd get really tired of playing against other people. Which, if you've ever played any kind of PvP, you know that other people are just terrible. So you can only handle them in so many doses. They're two really different kinds of games. Plus, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is a card game. And WoW is like an actual game where you go in and do stuff. You're so limited in stuff you can do with the card game, but with WoW, with its open world and everything, it's so much more. Even if I've already done like everything 3 times or shit like that. So which one do I like better? I don't know. They're too different to really compare. Okay, so next one from Devin Brooks. I have a question for your next Q&A, so write these down, biatch. First question, why am I so amazing? This is a legit question. Don't avoid it or we are no longer besties. Okay, thanks. Second question, where do you have a summer vacation while other than Nagran? Okay, bye. First question, why am I so amazing? I don't know. That's a weird question. It's usually something I'd be asked by, I don't know, that is a common question I get a lot, actually. Mainly just because a lot of my friends, like a majority of them, are women. And that just seems to be something that they say. Also, they're really fast to call you a bestie. Girls just love to have best friends for some reason. Second question, where would you have a summer vacation in WoW, other than Nagrand? A summer vacation in WoW other than Nagrand. Mulgore, because it's beautiful. And then maybe Undercity, just because it's really eerie and I love Undercity. It feels like home. I know Undercity like the back of my hand. Void Shrine has some questions too, I think. I don't know, let me just read it out. I like the fact that you start your hour-long video saying you don't like videos longer than 5 minutes. I usually also write a comment the first minute of your Q&A, then I edit it at least 6 times for each time I hear something I'd rather comment on. LCHF is actually like the best diet out there according to doctors and stuff. When your body adapts to it, it's supposed to be really good. Oh, I think that's talking about the glucose-free diet. Is it called glucose? I think it is. Carbs? Yeah, no carbs. Both for losing weight and for your health. Also, you should try something like story time, basically where you talk about your Q&A, but like stories from high school because those are interesting. Story time? Story time is basically what I do in my Q&A video. Not my Q&A videos, not these ones. I do tell stories sometimes, but in my other channel, the one where Ask Reddit, yeah, that one. Because usually I have lots of stories from my life, but since I have so many, they all kind of just blur together. It's like, oh, it's hard to just like pinpoint really memorable ones, but when I'm reading questions from Ask Reddit threads, sometimes someone will talk about something which will remind me of a story, and then I'll go into that story for like 5 minutes during the video. So, I tell lots of stories from my time before YouTube in my Ask Reddit channel very regularly. I'm trying to think of like the last one I talked about. I don't know, I think I'd have to let me go look at my Ask Reddit channel real quick to see if one of those videos will jog my memory or not. Let's see, my channel, Hiru's Ask Reddit uploads. What's something people brag about but really shouldn't? What would be the shittiest use of time travel? What is never going to happen? What should people be ashamed of for not knowing? What concept completely blows your mind? What are some major red flags you should never ignore? None of these are jogging memories. Non-American Reddits. What's something you've always wanted to say to America? What products look like gimmicks but actually works? What socially unacceptable things are you okay with? Ooh, that seems like something I would comment on. What's your favorite 1 or 2-liner joke? What socially unacceptable things are you okay with? It seems like there's something there. Oh, I know. There was this one thing on there from okay, so my mom's side of the family is very Mexican culture-y. Because I am of mixed race. I'm half white, half Hispanic. And my mom's side of the family is Hispanic. And there's also a really big family. Because I have my mom and then my uncle, and that's it. But my grandmother is one of 10 children from my great-grandma, who migrated over from Texas to Arizona, where we live. And then before Texas, I don't know how far back it goes. We've been in America for a couple generations. And anyway, there's still old school Mexican culture bullshit. And Mexican culture is really macho. So all the guys try to act tough, and they're all really nice. My extended family's nice. There's not really anything bad I can say about them other than they conform to Mexican culture, it's not bad or good, it's just different. But one of the different things that I'm not really a big fan of is how it's part of Mexican culture or Hispanic culture in general that when you go to a party or someone's house, you say hello to everyone inside. If you don't go and say hello to everyone individually, it's considered rude, and they'll think, why didn't they say hi to me, but they said hi to everyone else? Do they not like me anymore or something? So every time we would go visit over there, there'd always be a whole bunch of people there. Because, whenever we will visit our grandmother, because she had someone who lives across the street, one of her sons, which would be my great uncle, I think. He owns a auto repair shop. And then right next door would be one of my great grandmother's daughters, who was also a teacher. Everyone, they all have done something with their lives. It's not like they're all deadbeats or anything. Some of them are lawyers, and one of them's a principal. One of them owns a auto body shop. They're all nice people, like I've said. But anyways, there's always like a lot of people there, and you go and then say hello every time. But I only really go there like during, like major events, because I don't really like to visit my family. I don't have anything against it. It's just they're people who I don't really have anything in common with, and I don't really like hanging out with people that I don't have anything in common with, or that I have to make an effort to talk to when there's nothing for me to gain out of it, because I am an introvert. I don't like to talk to people unless I have to, but I know how to talk to people when I do have to. I've perfected the art of it because it didn't come naturally to me, so I practiced a lot of it at my old job where we talked to people all the time. So I know how to hold a conversation and turn it towards me, and I've gotten really good at just, manipulating people into liking me. That way I can talk about myself and turn conversations about myself in a natural way. Conversations take a lot of work on my part. So if I have to do it, if I don't have to have a conversation with someone, I'll choose not to if there's nothing for me to gain from that conversation. And I don't think there's anything to gain from my close family, because they're going to be there no matter what. So I can just, freely not talk to them if I don't want to. So whenever we go there, like during Christmas, we'd have everyone go there, and there'd just be like a crap ton of people in the house, and you have to go in and say hi to everyone, and it takes like 20 to 30 minutes because there's just so many people, and they always want to have small little conversations and see how you're doing, because they're nice, decent people. And I just hate that. I've always hated it ever since I was little. I just I don't want to talk to you people. I just want to go sit in the corner and play my PSP, because I don't even want to be here. As soon as I turned 18, I stopped going. And then I started going back again when I was like 20 or something, because I was like, you know what? There's not really a reason I shouldn't go. It's only once a year anyway, so I can just suck it up, because, I've been seeing them my entire life, so why not? But I still just don't like doing that. The thing is, I started going back again. I just stopped going for 2 years, and they would always ask where I was, because I was the only person from my family who didn't show up. But now that I go back, I just don't bother with the formalities anymore. When I go, I just go and do whatever I want. I go eat, or, just go play by myself, or catch up with a cousin I haven't seen in a while. And when we leave, I just leave. I don't say bye to everyone. I'm the only person in my family who does it. And since I've been doing it for so long, I don't know, not so long, for a few years, it doesn't really bother them anymore. Or my immediate family either. And that's something socially unacceptable for people of my side of the family who've been doing this for years, where you have to say hi to bye to everyone, that I just stopped doing because I don't like it. And I can get away with it now just because I'm the only person who doesn't do it. They just oh, that's just what he does. Because it's so stupid. I just talked for a really long time about something so tiny that's so inconsequential. But yeah, that's a very small story about something socially unacceptable that I do. But it's really only socially unacceptable for people of that specific culture. I'm pretty sure there's other cultures who we have to say hi and bye to everyone when you go into their house too, but I just hate it. I hate it. I like people. I just don't like talking to them if I don't have anything I can get from them. Oh man, that makes me sound like such a sleazy person. When I say something I can get from them, it's if I want to potentially have a friend in the future, where what I would get from them is their time and company, which is something that's valuable, because people generally like to have friends because they're a source of entertainment. Even if you don't really think of it like that. When you hang out with someone you like, well, like them as a friend, or you like their company, you have a good time when you're around them and you go out and do stuff. That's entertainment, and that's something you get from them. But of course, they have the pleasure of being in your company too, and I'm a great person to be in the company of. But yeah, so when I say if there's not something I don't want from them, I don't bother talking. Being their friend is a reason to talk to them, and it is something that I want from them, but it's not something I want from my family, so I don't bother. I do. I don't go out of my way to be a mean person to them either. I'm generally a nice person, so I just don't have extended conversations with them. That's it. I'm still pleasant and nice. Okay, next one from The Lazy Peon. This was great to listen to whilst editing. Interesting hearing about your video making process too. I can relate to a few things here. Well, I only really talked about video editing for like 5 minutes at one point. I just do a lot of it. Actually, specifically, I record my Heroes of the Storm videos and my Ask Reddit ones in a way so that I don't have to edit them. And it's great. Those are the only two ones I can do, though. Everything else I have to edit. Like when I edit a Metroidvania video, since the very nature of those kinds of videos are about exploration and platforming, if I don't edit those videos, it's just going to be like 10 minutes of me failing platforming, which is not fun. So I just edit that out. I'll show like the first time with me failing it, and then the next clip will be me attempting it and, you know, getting it done. Even though I probably had failed like 5 other times, I just cut that part out because I don't like watching that when I watch other people play Metroidvanias, so I take that out. Same thing with like really long parts where if you died and you have to do a really long ass segment to get back to where you were, I just edit that part out too. Or if I get really lost in exploring and I don't know where to go next, I'll just cut all that out. So yeah, I have to edit those ones too. I can't just record them in a way where I don't have to edit. And then of course there's my WoW videos, which do require a lot of editing. I actually made a video of me editing a video. Well, I wouldn't say I made a video. I recorded myself editing together my top 20 spells video. Top 20 coolest spells in WoW. Like, I got all the footage for it. I already recorded the lines. So basically all I had to do was put the footage together along with the audio. You know, the pure editing part of it. And also picking out music for it and stuff like that. It's like a 2.5 hour long video of me putting together a 6-minute long video. If you really want to see just how long editing takes and just how monotonous and boring, and it's actually not that bad. When you edit, time seems to just fly by, especially when you get in the zone and you just, yeah. When you get in the zone, it's really hard to edit if you don't get in the zone. You have to be some kind of crazy person not to get in the zone while editing, because you usually get focused in on it and you can just like punch it out and then you finish up. It's like, oh, ooh, I'm glad that's over. What the fuck? 4 hours just passed? That felt like 20 minutes. Because, you know, you get really absorbed into it, or at least I do. I'm pretty sure other people had to do that too. And in that video where I recorded myself doing it, I made sure to talk about all the parts I'm doing and why I'm editing specific parts to it. And it's not going to be a video on the channel, but it is a video over on my Patreon, because I sometimes put Patreon only. Sometimes I do that quite often. I want to say I do it quite often. No, I've only done it a few times. But yeah, it's a Patreon only video just because it's really long and I don't see why anyone would want to watch that. So if you really want to see that, you just have to pay the $1 thing in order to subscribe to the Patreon feed in order to watch those videos, or ask someone who already has the link to it, because it's just an unlisted video. So as long as you have the link to it, you can watch it. So if one of my other Patreon people want to post the link to it, they're free to do whatever they want with that link. If you really want to watch me edit for 2.5 hours, which I don't. I don't think you'd want to. That's why it's extra content on the Patreon thing. That's what Patreon's for extra videos like that where I edit for 2.5 hours. And also where I talk about my videos. Because I also made another one because the 10 things you didn't know about warlocks was a Patreon voted video. Meaning I put a whole bunch of my video ideas on Patreon and I had them vote for which one they're going to make. And the 10 things about warlocks was chosen. So after I made the video, I recorded myself doing like a DVD commentary type thing over it, where I basically just talk about like every second of the video and why I did here things where I did them. Let's see, the video itself is 5 minutes and the commentary I made is 19 minutes because I would pause and talk about certain points. That's also a great idea for, you know, like extra content. Like the reason people buy DVDs is for like the director's commentary in the background. So just think of Patreon as like the DVD extras, and I consider the editing thing as a DVD extra, not really content for the channel, unless I made like an alt channel just for bullshit DVD content like that. I was like, you know what, just put in an unlisted video and having it on Patreon works just as well. So yeah, if you want to watch that, it's over on Patreon. Let's see here. Next question. Hey, no, that's not it. Oh, one from Herty Dwarf. Well, I mean, I wanted sleep, but I guess I can watch this. He finally recorded new footage, so we'll see a lot of recycled Iron Man footage for the next 15 videos. Kappa. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be watching Iron Man footage right now, just because, yeah, I have lots of Iron Man footage, and I don't really have any other footage, so I'll probably be using that for my next couple Q&A videos, just because I record ridiculously long stretches of footage for my Iron Man videos, and then I only use like 5 minutes of it, at most. Let's see. Herty Dwarf likes to put his comments into whatchamacallit. Every new sentence is like a new question. Herty Dwarf and what's his name? Void Shrine, and there's one other guy named Zyfrum, I think. They go to my streams like all the time, so I turn them into my moderators. Seems like a good idea. I think I saw someone else do it. Was it the Lazy Peon, or maybe it was Doron? It might have been Doron Movies. I went to the stream once, and someone was like, "Ooh, how come I'm a mod?" And he's like, "Oh, I just turn I turn people who come to my streams often into mods." And I was like, that's a good idea. So, Herty Dwarf is one of my mods on Twitch, because he comes to a lot of them. Same with Void Shrine and Zythrum. There's this other guy who comes to my Twitch a lot too, named Earthspeak, I think. But he showed me a picture of the bug that shall not be named once on stream, so he lost all privileges for life because of that. Kind of have to get in the zone, auto zone. Oh, for when I edit, we have to get into the zone. Yes, whenever I get into the zone, my eyes have lightning in them too. That's a reference for. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who watch these aren't weeaboos who watch tons of anime like I do. In this anime called Kuroko no Basuke, it's about basketball. Some of the top players are able to go into the zone, where they focus 100% on basketball, and only the best players are able to do this. And while in the zone, they're able to do like NBA levels of stunts. I mean, they can anyway. Kuroko no Basuke is like the Dragon Ball Z of basketball. It's awesome. They have a bunch of like really special names for ridiculously over exaggerated moves and everything. And whenever they go into the zone, their eyes get lightning in them, and it's like they're going Super Saiyan or something, and it's pretty cool. But the zone is a real thing in sports. I remember I was watching this video about Kobe Bryant talking about what it's like being in the zone, and everyone in the comments was like, "How come your eyes don't have lightning in them when you go in the zone?" And I thought that was funny, just because there were so many comments of people saying that. It was like, "How come you don't get lightning in your eyes?" And they're all like, "Where's the lightning in your eyes?" I was like, this is great. A whole bunch of weeaboo trash talking about basketball. Oh, too funny. You hand draw everything in those videos? The creepy ghost sure was hard to draw. That ping pong joke, though, so cruel and unusual. I think that sentence is talking about my channel with the jokes video, where I hand draw everything. You see, for my jokes videos, since I draw everything, I make sure to draw them in a way that you can recognize what it is, but it also looks cartoony and badly drawn, because I know my limitations with drawing. I tried really hard when I was, from first till 8th grade, when I gave up trying to draw well. And I never really got good at it, but since I practice so much, I know the basics of drawing very well, and I can draw some stuff, like very cartoonish, and if I make it look badly, you can still kind of make out what it is, even if it's not the best drawn thing in the world. So I know how to draw, just not well. I know all the basics, and I know how to do dimensions and put stuff in the foreground and crap like that, and like positions of the body. I just intentionally draw them disproportionate, because I know I can't do it if I try to do it correctly. But the thing is, whenever I want to draw a person, instead of drawing a stick figure, I mean, I still do stick figures sometimes, but more than half of the time, I'll instead draw a ghost. Because with a ghosts are easy to draw because they don't have legs or like a body. You just basically draw the head, and they have arms. And then, of course, their lower half is just squiggly lines, because they're ghosts. They don't got legs. They float. But the thing with ghosts is you can draw eyes, a nose, and a mouth and have them do stuff. which would be a little bit difficult on a stick figure because in order to do all that, you have to draw like really big heads. And usually when you draw stick figures, you don't draw big heads like that, and you'd instead have to zoom in and draw eyes and stuff if you want to do expressions like that. While on Ghost, you can just draw a really big-ass face because, you know, their entire body can be their face, essentially, just because of how ghosts are. And they're perfect for personifying emotion if I want to show that. If I don't really want to show emotion in their face or show their mouth moving or anything, I can just draw stick figures. But even then, I'll still probably just draw a ghost just because, you know, I draw a ghost for a whole bunch of other stuff because they're easy to draw, human-like figures that are easily identifiable. So that's like, yeah, that's why I draw a ghost a lot in those videos, is because that's whenever I want to draw a person, I draw a ghost instead because they're easy to draw with all the benefits of having a person in it. Like, no one's going to confuse the ghost for a person unless it's like a joke about ghosts, but since I've used enough ghosts, people on those videos don't usually question it. I'm pretty sure there will be some people anyways. And then the ping pong joke video, that one. Okay, so the pink ping pong ball joke. It's a 6-minute long video. It's the longest one on that channel. Every other video on that channel is like 30 seconds, except that one. It's 6 minutes long. And it's long because the joke itself requires it to be a long video. Basically what the thing does is it talks about the pink ping pong balls and how a kid asks for one for his birthday every year. And then every year he asks for more and more. He's like, I want one, now I want a pack. I want a box, I want a warehouse, I want a shipload of pink ping pong balls. And then every day, on the very next day, all of the ping pong balls just disappear. And then one day the kid gets into a car accident and is like on his deathbed, and he is like, the only thing I want is a pack of pink ping pong balls. And the dad's like, okay, but I'll give them to you only if you tell me what you've been doing with all the ping pong balls over all the years. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you. And at the end of the joke, when you give him the pink ping pong balls and they disappear, he's like, now son, tell me, what have you done with all those pink ping pong balls all over the year? And the son's like, I, and then he dies. And that's the punchline. Basically, you set it up for this really huge reveal. You're really curious as to, like, what the hell is he been doing with all those ping pong balls? Because it's impossible for him to get rid of all of them so quickly like he does. And of course, you think, is he shoving them up his butt or something? Is he a huge pervert? I don't know. I want to know what he's been doing with all those ping pong balls. And then you're denied the punchline at the end because he dies. And that's the joke. The joke is itself getting you curious for the punchline when there isn't one, and it's just so satisfying. So I pretty much just ruined the video, but if you want to see the video in its entirety, I'm pretty sure it's still funny even if you know the punchline is that there is no punchline. And it's funny because it's long, and really long, and really gets you curious without a punchline. It's a great joke. Okay, so next one, Mai's Band Nen. So enjoyable to listen to. Good stuff. Not really a question, but Mai's Band Nen is he's one of my recognizable fans. Usually, I recognize fans because they comment on a lot of my videos, and I'll start recognizing them that way. Kind of like Hiru Dwarf and Void Shrine. I recognize them because they comment on a lot of my videos, and they show up to all my stream. So it's like, oh, I know who these guys are. I almost think of them as, like, I don't know, super stalkers or something. My Band Nen would be considered one of them. Even if he doesn't show up to stream as much as Hiru Dwarf and Void Shrine do, he still comments on, like, pretty much every single video I put out. So that's how you get noticed by other YouTubers. Just comment on literally everything on a very consistent basis, and they'll notice you eventually. Because that's how I've noticed some of them. Even if I don't even read all the comments, I notice their pictures after a while, too. Let's see. Mr. Skeletal says, if you need motivation, you can always listen to Shia and just do it. I wonder what that's in reference to. If you want some Benediction quest footage, I own my own vanilla server and can record the quests in HD 60 FPS for you. Love your channel and love to help out. Just PM me if you're interested. You own your own vanilla server? The thing is, I have access to a Burning Crusade private server, with instant level 70s. And Burning Crusade has all the old quests in it, so I don't really need footage for it. But thanks anyway. I was going to do that video sometime soon, and I was thinking of just, doing machinima parts for it anyway. Like, not actual get footage for it, but just get models and, do machinima stuff for it instead of actually getting footage for it and just reading it instead, because I think that would be easier. Even if I do have access to it, it seems like it'd be a pain to actually go around and do the quest, since it requires a whole bunch of specific stuff. I don't know, I haven't researched it yet, I just know it's a well-known thing, and it would make for a good video that would get like over 10,000 views. Okay, next question. Could you do a top 10 BGs, or maybe a history of some BGs and how they've been balanced? I have a video idea for like the top 5 battlegrounds, where I basically just talk about the history of them inside of it. So that'll be like a combination of what you're asking. It'll be like a top 5 battlegrounds. I'll just pick some of my favorites, and then in the video itself I'll talk about the history behind the battlegrounds. I could also just, I could probably make more videos if I just individually talk about the history of battlegrounds and how they've been balanced. Interesting stuff. Maybe I can just turn those into different videos. I don't know. I can probably still make the top 5, or I don't want to do a top 10 because there's not that many battlegrounds. So picking the 5 of them would be more meaningful for the ones that actually made it to the list. Mine's Bandnen. Ooh, looks like he has another comment on here. My drawings are really bad. How dare you? They are amazing. Well, if you say so. Art is subjective, and I've always wanted to be a lot better than I am. Man, I would raid with you, but I server changed just to be with my friends. I know the pain, bro. Broski, my super pally. My Bandnan says, sorry to hear about your attack during your run. Crazy stuff. Oh, I think you've already talked about this story a few times in some of my other Q&A videos. But the thing is, not everyone who watches these things have actually listened to all of them. So, I don't really mind repeating stories, especially if they get called up like this. Okay, so about 2 years ago now. Oh wow, it's been like 2 years now. It's been over 2 years ago since this happened. So it was around the time I started making my channel. When I first started this channel, it was just a way to get myself out of depression, or a way to avoid depression, because I knew I was going to go into it because I had a lot of bad things happening to me all at once. And I was like, if I don't do something drastic to change my life, I'm going to become depressed again, and I don't want that. So I made a whole bunch of really drastic life choices, and I did stuff I've always wanted to do. And one of the things I always wanted to do was make YouTube videos, even though I had a bad computer and I didn't really have equipment or the know-how on how to make a video. I researched everything and made a couple of videos that are really bad. I'll probably make a video of me just watching some of my old videos, just because they're so bad compared to how they are now. But they're not that bad. It's just I didn't know what I was doing. And they accomplished their goal. They were a very time-consuming process that allowed me to be creative, and I accomplished my goal. I was able to avoid going into another depression. So I had all this stuff, going wrong, and I started making my videos, and none of them, when you first start out, you don't really get very many views, but I made this one video about the history of paladin seals, which I researched. It was like 10 minutes long. I put it on Reddit, and it made it to like the front page, and it had like over 5,000 views on it. And I was like, oh, this is my first video to not only go over, actually I think I had another video go over 1,000 views, but it was my first video. I got over 5,000 views. It was the most popular video on my channel. I had just put it out, and I was like, oh, this is going great. I just need to make more videos like these, and I'll get more views, and then maybe someday I can do this as a job. Oh no, that's too crazy. You have to be really good at this in order to do YouTube as a job. Two years ago, person of me said. Now I do it like that. So, anyways, my history of Paladin Seals video was doing great. I was like, you know what, life isn't so bad, just because I had all these bad things happen to me really quickly around the same time, but bad things usually always happen in pairs. So The thing is, around this time, I was still running like every day. I think it was up to like 7 miles or something, but sometimes I would be lazy and only run 3 miles. And I used to like to run at night because it's really hot here in where I live. And it's actually really nice at night, just because it's not hot as shit. So it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. 1 or 2. I used to go running at 1 or 2 in the morning every day, it's crazy. But I had done it so many times, I just ran around my neighborhood anyway, so I thought it was fine. So I went out running this day, normal run like normal, and while I'm coming through like a particularly dark section, I feel this thing on the side of my head, like, because I was running under these little short trees, and I was like, oh crap, did a bird fly into me or something? Because I felt something on the side of my head hit me pretty hard, and I turn around, and there's these two teenagers running up to me. I was like, oh shit, they attacked me. So I was like, okay, I'm at the end of my run. They both look rather athletic, and they're running towards me. So I'm probably just going to have to stop to see what they want. And if, I knew it was a bad situation, but I was like, I'm going to have to stop and see if I can get out of this, quickly. Maybe I can run away if they don't have any weapons. And then I see one of them has a gun, and I was like, oh shit, this is a bad situation. I'm just gonna have to be really careful about how I do this. And then what happened was I went really into like hyper aware mode, like almost like I was playing a football game and I was in the zone almost. And you're able to think like a million seconds in 1 second. So I was able to analyze everything of the situation. I knew what was going on. I weighed all of my options on what to do, and I found that the best option would be to show them that I don't have anything worthwhile, and then try to run away. Because fighting my way out was not a problem. Was not a thing that could happen, because one of them stood back and pointed the gun while the other one came up and tried to see if I had anything on me. They searched me, saw that I didn't have anything, and then he took his anger out on me and hit me a few times, and then I just took off. Because I had, shown them I didn't have anything worth getting worked up for because I was out on a run. And I ran away, and, that was obviously a chance, because they could have always just shot me while I was running, because it's not like I was zigzagging or anything. But they didn't, and I got home. And that was pretty much it. And then now I just have the PTSD from the initial cheap shot, because I was on a safe route that I had been running for like over a year, with no incidents, and all of a sudden I get into a situation where I could have easily have, not be living anymore. So now whenever I go out, I always make sure I'm in yellow alert mode. Usually with people with PTSD, there's like three kinds of modes you're in normally. There's green mode, where everything's fine and safe, you live in a first world country, nothing bad's gonna happen to you. That's how a majority of people are. And then there's yellow mode, where you're on alert. You're looking out for things. You're like, okay, I have to be careful because something might happen to me. And then there's red mode, where you're like, oh crap, something is definitely gonna happen to me very soon, and I need to be hyper aware and make sure I can get out of this situation. Like during the whole attack, I was in red mode like, a normal person would be. The thing is, though, I've never gone back to green. I just stayed in yellow. And that's what PTSD is. It's a constant state of yellow, which is very draining on the body, because you're always in a state of something bad is going to happen to me and I have to be aware. When usually you could be like, okay, everything's fine, I can just walk because nothing's going to happen to me. I can't go back to green anymore. And that's what PTSD is a constant state of awareness when you don't need to. There's no reason for me to look behind my back and always be aware of someone about to attack me, because that happened over 2 years ago, but it still happens. I'm in a constant state of yellow, and it's very emotionally draining. No, mentally draining. It's a huge pain in the ass to do that every day for the rest of your life when you're going outside. It probably won't be the rest of my life. I'll probably get over it eventually. But it's been 2 years, and it is a lot less than it used to be, but it's still there. I'm like in a light yellow, but I don't think I'll be going back to green anytime soon like I used to be before the attack. Like, I know sometimes if I'm in a store, because I always make sure I check my surroundings, I know exactly where everyone is all the time, because it's a huge pain in the ass. You really don't want to have PTSD. It's so draining. So much wasted energy on stupid shit. I remember one time I was in like the dollar store, just in the produce section, and there was this big guy who walked up behind me, and I hadn't seen him there before, and I immediately went into like a state of red panic attack. I was like, oh shit, something bad's gonna happen to me, and I had to forcefully restrain myself from not doing anything crazy. So sometimes I get little mini panic attacks like that, but I'm able to calm myself down and just go back to yellow like normal. So every time I go outside, I'm in a state of yellow, but I still go outside quite often because I'm not going to stay inside all day. I actually started going, I always try to go running again, just not at night. It's just every time I try to go and running again, in addition to, the PTSD and it being a lot more of a pain in the ass than it used to be, I'd always get sick, like, immediately. I think it's just a bad luck thing. It's not like I'd go running and then I'd get sick. It's more of I would start to work out again, and then like a week later I'd get sick. And then, I just stop working out whenever I get sick, because I used to get sick all the time in high school, and I hated football practice while I was sick. It was literally the worst. It sucked. So I made like a point that if I'm ever sick, I am never going to do anything remotely physically active. I'm just going to be like a huge baby and stay home and just not do anything and take tons of drugs so I don't have to deal with the side effects of trying to toughen it out, because I've been sick so many times in my life. So every time I tried to work out again, I'd get sick, and then I would, not work out for a week, and then I'd lose all motivation. Because with working out, as long as you do it every day, it becomes easy. Like, it's hard at first, but once you get over like a week or two gap of doing it, your body will eventually settle into it, and it becomes a lot easier, and then you even get to the point where your body wants to go running every day. I know this because I've been working out for like a long ass time, and I've never actually been able to get to that point where my body wants to do it again. Because every time I've tried, ever since the attack, I'd get sick. And then it takes me a lot longer to actually start going again, just because I can only go run at certain parts of the day. I can't go running whenever I want anymore. And it's just a huge hassle. I also like to go running outside. I have like an exercise like bike or whatever. I don't know what it's called. It's like half bike, half elliptical thing. I don't like it. I like going outside. It's a lot better to go running outside than it is to do it on a machine at home or in a gym. Because you can like listen to podcasts and music, and it's an enjoyable thing once you get into the habit of it. Okay, so that's the story of my attack and how I have a slight PTSD thing because of it. Next question. Hey, what add-on do you use for questing? Also, great video. In the video I have right here, I'm not using an add-on for questing, so I can't really see. Maybe you're talking about the thing in the top left-hand corner that shows me like how many more creatures and how many quests I need to do in order to reach the next level. In which case, that add-on's called X2 Level. It's a neat little add-on. Good thing with the Iron Man challenge, you're not supposed to use add-ons that help you quest, but that one's not really. It doesn't help you quest. It just tells you what you have to do. I mean, like, it's more like a progress bar. It doesn't actually help you with questing, but it does, show how much more you have to do in order to get to the next level. Let's see. Next one. It feels like we're hanging out. That's why I like your Q&As. Well, if me and you were to hang out, this would be basically what would happen. I would steer the conversation into a conversation about myself, while at the same time trying to keep you engaged in it and asking you various nonsensical questions that you can answer with yes or no, which would then lead me into my own question to make it seem like we're having a two-sided conversation, but really I'm just talking about myself. So listening to a Q&A video is about as close as to having an actual conversation with me, but without the effort on my part of steering the conversation towards, me, the subject I want to talk about. Let's see. It feels like I'm hearing myself talk. No wonder I like listening to your Q&As. Well, Chi To Tonga, it seems like you are also a narcissist. Can you make a video where you show us your in real life face? Much appreciated. No, I won't make a video, but I also, if I ever show up to a public event, it's not like I'm going to deny photographs or anything if anyone recognizes me, which would be pretty difficult since you'd only have my voice to go off of and my Twitter's tweets like, "Oh, I'm at this event. LOL." I really like your way of making videos. It feels like us, the viewers, are part of it, not like most other YouTubers I know. Really, because lots of other YouTubers like to try. They try to make the content like we're having a one-on-one conversation, so they say, "Hey, it's me, so-and-so. Leave comments based on these arbitrary suggestions if you also agree with this arbitrary thing." They try to engage the viewer and stuff like that, and I make a conscious effort not to do any of that. It's basically like I'm telling you stuff, and then if you want to comment or do anything on the video, it's your own prerogative. So, if you like that style, it's because I like that style too. So I can totally see where you're coming from. Well, what kind of music do you listen to? I listen to a lot of Two Steps from Hell recently. They're like an opera style. I don't know what it's called. Epic music is what I have it listed under my playlist. It's like that music you'd play like if something very dramatic was about to happen. I have a lot of stuff. I have 2 iPods. One of them is just nothing but like that kind of music. Another one is just an assortment of weeaboo crap and Vocaloids, anime openings, other random songs I've liked that I listen to at other random locations, and of course some epic music as well. But I don't know, it's a lot of different crap. Let's see. Next one. I've always wanted to make YouTube videos since I began watching YouTube, but I have no history in Flash or video editing or where to get programs to do that. Where would you recommend I start? Well, if you want to make YouTube videos and you want, you can teach yourself Flash pretty easily, but you don't also need Flash at all. You can just use a video editor. If you want to see a good example of someone who's able to make videos that get lots of views with very little knowledge of video editing, just take a look at some of Danger Dolan's stuff. That's a prime example of how your video quality doesn't really matter, because his videos get millions of views, and I'm pretty sure anyone who's learned how to edit, who has like a day's worth of experience in video editing, could produce the same exact results of him. Same thing with like Wow Krendor. He doesn't have the best quality machinimas in the world, but he still gets, lots of views on his videos, mainly because of his personality and the actual jokes in the video, and not because of the quality of the videos. Quality is not really that important, to be honest, but it is nice. It does look nice. Just look at some of Nixium's machinimas. Those are some high quality stuff, but he probably spends way longer than I've ever spent on any of my videos to make just one of those things. And they're really high quality stuff. And yet some of the I don't know, he just has really high quality videos. Some of his videos do pretty well too, but I'm pretty sure his most popular videos are his top 10s, because those get views like crazy. Okay, we don't want Q&A, we want top 10. I want Q&A, screw you. Yeah, I can see that. More top 10s. I have a 107 facts video that I'm working on, which is taking so long. It was one of the Patreon voted things. I created the top 20 and the Dave Gets Lost video because I knew they'd be quick ones that I could put out to give myself a buffer so I could work on the 107 facts video. But it's not enough of a buffer. I might actually have to drop the video just to make something else to create another buffer. I wanted the 107 facts to be done by this weekend, but I can't see that's happening. I don't even have 107 facts yet for it. Because at this one, I wanted to, it be the end of my facts videos. I'm not going to say that in the video anywhere, but it's basically, after I do this one, I'm probably not going to do any more fact videos. Just random facts about stupid shit. Instead, I'll put them in concise, very specific top 10 videos, because those generate more views. But this will be my last facts video, and there'll be 107 of them, and it's going to be nothing but pop culture references and Easter eggs and, just the random facts shit about the game that you probably didn't know about. And it's only going to cover content that hasn't been in any of my other videos. So And I've covered a lot of facts, so it's hard to find 107 that I haven't used before in one of my other million viewed videos about the same topic. I even have a video on my channel called 50 Fun Facts, so I gotta make sure not to use any from that too. But since I spent so much time editing those videos, I pretty much haven't memorized which ones I've used before, so it's not that hard to put ones in that I haven't covered before. It's just hard finding the content, but I think I can do it. I'm already at like 90. I just have to find like 20 more, and then I'll cut out some that I don't really like. And then I have to actually start recording the video, and I really don't want it to be longer than 20 minutes, but I don't see how that's going to happen. Okay, and last one. First view, probably. I kind of just upload these randomly. Alright, I think that's the end of this video. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. I thought this was going to be a short video, but that never happens. It's like an hour and 10 minutes so far. I'm going to try uploading these to SoundCloud too, so it might be on SoundCloud when I actually put this video out. It might even be out before I actually put the video up, just because SoundCloud is just audio and I don't have to render out a long-ass hour-long video.